Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Piglet here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Yoshi's Crafted World for the Nintendo Switch. So, last time we have finally managed to 100% through everything in terms of the forms of outer orbit by simply able to find not only for the forms of the final few sets of those souvenirs to get, but also just trying to get ourselves the last of those Pudgy Pups, basically. So either way though, altogether that we actually did manage to gather all of these smiley flowers on that world, so even though there's not much else I can really must buy, well, usually I just have no idea what I truly explain about this right now, but either way though, that's enough about that. So today for this episode is the fact that we're going to be moving on to this new world right here, which appears to be Chili Valley, or Chili Valley, it's hard to explain about it. Cheery Valley, as far as I like to say it, and hopefully we'll dive right into the forms of Ride the River, which appears to be some sort of like a water level basically, for the sake of this world right here. So even then though, let's get this thing to it. I'm really excited about this. Okay, if you couldn't tell with that little particular familiar jump card right there, because, well, as you can tell from the start though, is the fact that, as you can tell, that every time whenever we proceed to this level, as you can see what this actual main mechanic of this stage is that not only do we need to traverse for those lily pads, as you can see right there, in order to progress, that as you can tell, if you somehow dive right into the actual water, what happens is the fact that you'll be instantly get taken back into where you got into, as you can probably already imagine of what this is going on. And because of this though, this is what the level starts to get, yeah, you see that right there. And as a result, it will take you back onto that safe spot, as opposed to the other lily pads, or in this case for that green platform. I was supposed to be able to recover for that point, but seemingly to say, it's only up for the challenge basically. So even then though, that's all I can really doubt it for anyway. So anyways, in this part, we need to basically just get all of these blue coins, and hopefully we should be able to actually just to gather them all without letting the time run out, and hopefully, and plus, because of how the fact that we actually got ourselves the actual, the egg block, that we can able to spawn in some more Yoshi's eggs for the time. So this means we can able to actually just get more Yoshi's eggs ammo, so that way we can able to instantly get ourselves the, what else? The smiley flower as a result for that too. So, yeah, everything's all comes together basically. So either way though, oh yeah, something's worth mentioning also is the fact that, oh actually I'll explain more about this whenever we get onto the forms of the next level in particular. Although at the moment right now, for the sake of this level, is the fact that I'm pretty sure we need to find ourselves 8 normal smiley flowers in between, plus 3 if you really want to go for the actual the optional tasks or what have you, or in this case if I like to call them mandatory tasks, if I was able to point it out. But either way though, we'll see what happens there during the forms of that specific knowledge. So yeah, something worth mentioning is the fact that today's day is the forms of the 3rd of September today, in this case in 2020, or in this case for this matter though, it was actually on Thursday for the sake of the actual the days of a week department. So either way though, but then again, I'll explain more details about this whenever we get onto the forms of the next level during the forms of in. I would say when it comes to the forms of the next level in this particular point for today. So either way though, let's go ahead and be very careful not to slip up, because otherwise if we somehow again, if we accidentally fell into the water, then obviously it'll take us back onto that, specifically that spot, as you can see, that the one I was going to be landing onto. I have no idea why I've double checked in here, just because of how the fact that if there are so many smiley flowers I was missing on through, so hopefully we would be able to actually not missing out on much. So, oh boy, collecting all the blue coins on this part right here. Especially noticeable how the fact that we actually got ourselves this huge, you know, the hungry fish, as you can see. No! I was off by 1 blue coin left. And I was so close for that too. And, ooh, what's this over there? It looks kind of familiar, doesn't it, for that distance over there, that I really refuse to miss that out, which is of course the gift box itself. So, hopefully we would be able to obtain that. So, yeah, you get the idea for that. So, hopefully we need to avoid a lot of those hungry, fishy-looking enemies and such, which we've already technically seen these since, Yoshi's Woolly World, but, this time around, though, it only makes it appears in one level in particular in this game this time around, because I'm pretty sure that in Woolly World does manage to retain, that particular familiar enemy from the likes of, 2 levels or something, including the forms of World Star or something. But then again though, it has been quite a few days actually since I've managed to able to come back into Yoshi's Woolly World for the Wii U and the 3DS version simultaneously. Speaking of the forms of Yoshi's Woolly World actually, it's the fact that recently I've now managed to finally able to 100% through everything off screen during the forms of in. Do you remember the forms about the fact that Daffy did manage to able to tackle through Yoshi's Woolly World for about a year ago at this rate, and unfortunately though he didn't able to actually achieve the 100% completion. This is probably due to the forms of the enemies list that he actually forgot about. But at least even then though, he did manage to get himself all of the music lists in particular. So okay, so there's the final 3 red coins on that spot, and let's not forget ourselves the next smiley flower just around here. But we need to be fast on this part, because otherwise if you somehow manage to get left behind on that part, then obviously you would able to accidentally fall off the water and plus lose your health. So actually, kind of thinking about it, I actually really do like the actual aesthetics about this level, and specifically towards the end, because it kind of reminds me like a bathroom tiles or something like that. That seems just pretty cool enough as it is. Especially noticeable how the fact that, again, this game has been made by not only for Nintendo, but also Unreal Engine 4, if I could recall that. Or in this case, Unreal Engine, as far as I like to call it that. Very much like how it does in Kingdom Hearts 3 and stuff. Which, relatively speaking, because this game did came out the exactly the same year as when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out throughout. So either way though, then let's move on to the next level in Cheery Valley, which appears to be open shut. Let's see how this level's gonna turn out to be. In this case, for the sake of this level's gimmick, is the fact that the main mechanic of this stage is that, as you can tell, we now need to come across into the forms of those spinning looking platforms, as you can see right there. That's as you can see on screen, that we need to hop onto those platforms one form or another. So either way though, that's the whole entire purpose of this stage looks like. So either way though, we can at least, you know, try to able to get onto that stuff. So you know, you get the idea for that, for the sake of this matter. And hopefully we'll able to try to get ourselves all of the, you know, every single smiley flowers in between. So even then though, we'll just grab some more coins in the process. And in fact, we're almost there to the forms of that highest amount as we could. So that way we can able to purchase some more costumes. I think I should probably spending on to the, based off from that space-themed world, if you guys can clearly already notice by this fact, just because of how the fact that originally I was going to be able to go in for likely one world or another, but either way though, I'm just going to have to mainly focusing on, well, it's hard to explain about it sometimes, because again, it's been quite a while since I actually come back to this. And before we continue, there's actually this little hidden area in the forms of that distance over there, so that way we can able to actually just not only just trying to able to activate that particular time cloud, which obviously gives us an opportunity to grab some more blue coins, but if you accomplish something like this, then you would get yourselves a smiley flower. And speaking of smiley flowers actually, is the fact that for the sake of this stage, as well as the other stage coming up, that we've only just going to be gathering, collecting around 8 of those smiley flowers, as far as I can remember. So either way though, let's go ahead and move along for the sake of this time right here. And hopefully we won't be able to fall down or anything like that, or fell down to the bottomless pit or something. So hopefully we should be able to make it pretty obvious for that fact. So yeah, you probably get the idea for that, so... Anyway, so speaking of which for today, is the fact that recently, for those who lived in the UK version, is that Metroid Other M for the Nintendo Wii has been came out for about an entire decade old now in terms of the forms of, well, it already did in terms of the American version, and same applies to the Japanese version as well, and Australian versions as well. But in the European / the UK version, that game has been turned into about a decade old now. Despite the fact I've not actually touched that game just yet though, just because I need to be mainly focusing on other Metroid games I like to able to play out, and even trying to complete them as a result too, which I need to be moving on to. At the moment right now, I'm still focusing on, I would say Super Metroid for the Super Nintendo and stuff like that, and also same applies to the forms of the original Metroid Prime, and even especially noticeable with Metroid 2, The Return of Samus, and etc, etc. So, but then again, there's a whole lot of stuff I can able to play through, thanks to the forms of how the fact that since I've managed to go myself a whole lot of games actually, so that way I can able to actually get invested onto, especially noticeable how the fact that with the coronavirus situation is still happening, so that way I can able to give myself my spare time, so that way I can able to play certain stuff, including online stuff here and there as well, including the most recently trying to play through a bit on, let's just say Super Mario Maker 2, and especially noticeable with online matches in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, despite I've already accomplished every single tasks in the online catalog in Smash Ultimate now, and especially noticeable with the forms of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for some racing action. So even then though, and eventually I might as well play for a bit on some online stuff in terms of the forms of what I probably should say is the fact that with Luigi's Mansion 3, and even especially noticeable with Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020, so hopefully I would be able to actually just to play through that. And especially to top it all off is the fact that what can I even not mentioning is, I would classify for saying Splatoon 2, if I managed to get able to get a chance to play that. But unfortunately though, we haven't exactly played through the first game just yet though. But we could expect this much. We can able to do that game at some point in the future. Specifically, well, I really don't know, because then again, we're still mainly focusing on this from now on, alongside with Sonic is still focusing on Kingdom Hearts Final Mix still. But either way though, we could expect this much, so. But that's as far as I can usually say about it. So yeah, happy 10th year anniversary in terms of the release of Metroid Other M. In terms of the American version, that already came out first for August 31st, if I could recall. Yes, August the 31st, because I just managed to rewatch Some Call Me Johnny review of Metroid Zero Mission for the Game Boy Advance in terms of the Metroid Marathon and stuff like that, or a month of Metroid or something. And I gotta say, his review is actually really good, especially noticeable with that iconic Metroid Zero Mission unknown item theme that constantly plays out for his reviews and stuff. Like, I think the first one he actually introduced for that theme is actually is of course Metroid Zero Mission review, and also Sonic the Hedgehog 3 review, and also what else is on here? Oh yeah, the Johnny vs Super Mario Brothers, and especially noticeable with I would say Johnny vs Pokemon Stadium by the end of that video, where he pulls out the actual Pokemon trading cards and stuff like that. And also Mega Man 9 and 10 review, if I could recall that, from in terms of Johnny versus videos and stuff. In fact, seriously guys, you should probably definitely recommend his channel to able to I can't really speak today for this point guys, subscribe to him, so that way you can able to actually have some fun, entertaining, hilarious stuff during the forms of that particular channel. Oh, really? Stupid swooping looking enemies. In fact, it just gets me cornered right here, and I just got crushed. And in fact, to make matters even much more annoying, is that it actually takes me all the way back to the very beginning of that portion. Luckily though, if you can't be bothered able to go for that specific stuff, that way you can able to actually just instantly trying to do some more flutter jumps in order to able to actually make your way to the fastest method as possible, by not only just trying to do for that, but to be more specifically, just trying to able to get enough bounce height, and then hopefully should keep on flutter jump, keep on bouncing, keep on jumping some more enemies, And eventually, yep, you were able to make it onto that exactly the save point, just about right here, despite I accidentally got hit by those very annoying swoopers or anything like that. Although, they're not technically swoopers per se, because that was the bats looking enemies, but they're more likely geisters or something. I really don't know. I don't really know, again, that much in terms of Yoshi's enemies and stuff like that. So forgive me for that for sake of parts, just because of how the fact there has been quite a while since I actually played this, you know, since Tuesday, so... Anyways, let's move on now to the last level in Jury Valley, and this one is actually pretty unique. It appears to be Cylo Zoom, and as far as I recall, this is the final special level in the whole entire game, at least in terms of the forms of the main mechanics and stuff like that, so hopefully it should be a lot more fun. And I apologize for that another jump cut again, but then again though, it actually took me quite a few tries to able to get this right. So, basically, in Cylo Zoom, that it's basically what this stage represents is actually a race. And what's cool about this is the fact that it's entirely placed in, I would say in a 3D dynamic or something like that, which is pretty cool looking. So this means we can able to actually just to drive straight forward, while all at the same time you have to deal with the forms of those two sides of your panel. Like if you go slightly to the left, then you obviously go drive to the left. If you go to the right, it goes to the right. And if you stay towards the center, then obviously it'll drive it for you. So even then though, along your way you can able to actually come across into a lot of racers, or in this case some drivers in between. So in order to be able to actually get yourselves all of those smiley flowers, if you can clearly tell at this point, is the fact that you need to get yourselves obviously to claim first place basically. So either way though, and as a result, that at the same time as you can see right there, we do need to avoid a lot of shadings and stuff like that, because if you come across into a shade, meaning about the fact that you would able to slow down, and the best recommendation in order to be able to become #1 on this race, basically you have to avoid a lot of shade, and plus you need to get in the light at all costs. So that way you can able to actually just to get yourselves a little bit more, well, how should I say, no problems with this for whatsoever. So hopefully you would be able to actually consider this the actual main thing. Of all the actual levels in this game in particular, this is overall one of my favorite levels of the game, because that way you can able to come across into a lot of racing action and stuff like that. And despite the fact this is the last gimmick stage, well, as far as I like to say, the special kind of levels as far as I'm aware, which basically you would be able to actually just do considering about the fact that this is actually a fun one to end on. So even then, that's super cool and all that stuff. So I'm hoping I don't miss any of those red coins or anything like that. Well, so far so good anyway though, but it's just a matter of you know, just trying to able to get yourselves the, in terms of any of the rest of the collectibles. So, anyways, let's head on here, grab the second smiley flower, and eventually we'll get ourselves the final 3 once we're able to be claimed first place. And as you can see, we've got ourselves all 20 of those red coins, no problem. In fact, this is actually probably, without doubt, the best level to able to farm some more of those coins, specifically on the front side of the stage, because that way you can able to get ourselves a lot more coins, assuming if you're trying to able to grab those already collected smiley flowers again, if you really want to able to go for a second run. In fact, I don't know if I might able to do this on off screen, so that way I can able to get the rest of the costumes from that way. So I'm really hoping I would be able to deal with all that, especially noticeable until whenever we get on to the next portion of the game once we're done with the main game, and plus not to mention with the you know, some of these secret stuff in mind, but then again, we're not going to explain more about this until by the end of September or something like that, so we can at least expect that. And now we're about to be moving on to the next world, which we're probably not going to get onto it just yet though, just because, well, we have to stop here because of the fact that we need to still continue things on with, of course, the souvenir huntings all over again. So I would love to able to spend this on here, but however, what I'm going to do is the fact that I'm actually going to have to, although I need to grab some more coins first before I'm able to actually just to spend most of my coins during the actual, you know, just trying to able to spend into able to get some more costumes on specifically the world based on Outer Orbit world. So yeah, I would expect that. So either way though, let's hit into this. Alright, so let's go ahead and keep on jumping over for those lily pads, and hopefully without too much distraction or what have you. Well, apart from the fact that we need to keep on finding some souvenirs, as I said before, which again can be pretty tedious at one form or another. Thankfully, I'm really hoping that this world does have lesser amounts of souvenirs to find, unlike the ones in Outer Orbit. But at least even then, we could expect something to be happening, at least assuming if we're able to, you know, still continue for this world until likely Junior forms have been next, you know, next Tuesday and Thursday and stuff like that, if it's possible. But either way though, let's go ahead and grab some more eggs. And yeah, as you can tell, we've managed to finally found the bottle hut, which is pretty simple to get. So now we need to aim for... Oh yeah, since we actually might as well able to actually just to get enough time, actually, into whenever we... Excuse me. Until we're able to actually get our chance to get ourselves the... What else? The final Smiley Flower on this level. So we could, at least we can able to have the ability to do that. So hopefully we'll try this again, and hopefully we would be able to obtain that. So hopefully... Yep, there we go. So, how's that for that one? So anyways, let's go ahead and... Wait a minute. Oh, wait. Ah! That was definitely my fault. I shouldn't able to actually leave the level. Ah, I'm such an idiot. So, unfortunately, I didn't get my, smiley flower at the end. But I'll try again when the souvenir guy, in this case, well, how do I describe it, that for the sake of this guy? But either way, though, let's move on now to the next souvenir, which appears to be, finding, 5 Dragonflies, which appears to be on open-shut level. So, hopefully we would be able to, find the rest of these, and, yeah, that's all I can really say about this for the most part, so... Yeah, speaking of the forms of Metroid series as a result, is the fact that we still have no idea when the Metroid Prime 4 will be still about to be releasing in some form or another. But either way though, that's probably because of how the fact that, well, usually that the Retro Studios is actually still working on it. And I don't know when exactly when that's going to be releasing. Well, at least we'll find out during at some point during... Well, I would say next year in 2021 in E3, if it's anything possible. But either way, though, we'll see what happens there. So, yeah, I suppose another game I should probably able to try to celebrate, but in terms of likely the next few days or something like that, until when it gets to October or November. Well, to be more specifically, until in November, actually, because in November, not only do we able to actually just try to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of Sonic Colors on the Wii and the DS, but also trying to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the GoldenEye 007 remake for the Nintendo Wii, and, well, the one we have to play as Daniel Craig as opposed to Pierce Brosnan, unlike the ones in the Nintendo 64 game Classic. And as a result of that kinds of stuff, though, and also same applies to that one particular movie, which appears to be Harry Potter and the Deadly Hallows Part 1, and also same applies to most people's least favorite series, as far as I'm aware, which appears to be Epic Mickey, which is on the Nintendo Wii exclusive, and we might able to do that Let's Play at some point by the end of 2020, at least assuming if how the fact that it all goes on and stuff. So either way though, oh yeah, talking of which actually, is the fact that, speaking of December actually, is the fact that Donkey Kong Country Returns, as well as Super Mario All-Stars, despite it was actually a, let's just say a port to the SNES game, what's like place the Super Nintendo game and slap onto the Wii disc. But usually, relatively speaking, I really don't think I can able to count that. But for Donkey Kong Country Returns, that game will also become 10-year anniversary and stuff like that too. And same applies to Kirby's Epic Yarn as well, until likely next month. Specifically in North America, and I believe in Japan as well, even though I haven't really looked upon that much in terms of Japanese footage of Kirby's Epic Yarn as much, but as far as the European version is concerned, and Australia as well, that obviously that game came out in the European or the UK countries, and during new forms of in 2011, which is about a year later, so seriously, there's so many games that just managed to become a decade old now, which even then though, it already did in terms of the forms of Sonic Classic Collection for the Nintendo DS, despite it was actually a compilation and stuff like that. And also same applies to the Nintendo DSi XL for the English versions of that particular upgrade or anything like that. And also same applies to, you know, Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold versions, as in Generation 2 Remake. And also same applies to Super Monkey Ball Step and Roll, and even Super Mario Galaxy 2, and especially noticeable with the forms of Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, with Banjo-Kazooie on the 360 version if you want to include that. And oh no, not much else I can say. Not much else I can say, because even then though, until when we get to the point until likely... Oh yeah, I should probably point things out also, is that let's head back in here and just trying to able to, not only just trying to, hopefully trying to grab that, you know, for that same exact smiley flower, at least even I was expecting so, but also just trying to able to find ourselves the dried fish, which as far as what the souvenir is trying to tell me something, then we should be able to actually just to find that as soon as we can. So, oh yeah, I should probably mention about something also, is that the Mario Sports Mix, specifically in the Japanese release of the game, it will also become a decade old until whenever we get on to November the 25th of 2020, which, still I can't even believe that time itself just went flooming past by, which, sorry for a little bit of a crazy subject, mind you, but either way though, still, it's just the fact of the matter is though, is that depending if I was playing through games, recording stuff and whatever, oh man, the time itself just went flying, like super flying. But either way though, that doesn't end off here, because I'm still usually playing through some Zelda games from time to time. Well, no one near as much on the summer season, sadly. Well, apart from the forms of course, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Remake, because that way I can able to play on the go for my, of course, my gorgeous Nintendo Switch. And also same applies to playing through The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for few bits worth knowing for, because of the fact that with the sequels in development, so even then at least I'm super excited about, despite the fact that I'm pretty much still playing through Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition as well, to top it off. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of like longer games I can thankfully manage to play through for myself, so that way we can able to actually accept that. So yeah, you get the idea. Okay, let's try this again, and thankfully we can able to keep that. And let's just go ahead and mainly focusing on now is of course trying to find the dried fish, which as far as I'm aware is like a dried fish clothesline. So even then though, I think, if I was assuming correctly, it's gonna be on, well, not in that area, but specifically, yep, as far as I'm aware, it's after that checkpoint, isn't it? Yep, I did see it just about over there, so we can at least able to find that, and we are good to go. And thankfully, we can now able to finally keep that, you know, that fifth smiley flower I was on about, rather than pausing it and just leave, because that way it will not work. But anyway, I think we'll take a break on souvenir hunts for now on, until likely for next Tuesday and stuff like that. So let's see what the next souvenir item he's going to be asking me for. He's asking next is the wooden house. So I think that'll be on the spin shut level or open shut level. But first off, before we end this off, however though, let's go ahead and get some more, you know, some more costumes, journey forms of that specific capsule thing in outer orbit. So that way we can spend a whole lot more coins, and hopefully we should get, you know, some more costumes for that sake of that spot over there. Of course, the actual price is still ridiculously higher, assuming if you're trying to purchase like 10 of them. So, Happy Planet. And also we've got Magnet Box. And also we've got the Blue Shooting Star. And the next one we have is the Launch Rocket. And also we've got the Purple Shooting Star. And also we've got Space Rocket. And the Mint Shooting Star. And also we've got Cybo. And two more left. Star Cap. And finally, Painting Set. no idea why we got ourselves painting set to begin with, as a costume based, but either way though, it's just a matter of convenience, that is. So either way though, I think that pretty much, well, wraps it up for the sake of this video. And unfortunately, we don't have enough time left for the sake of the forms of carry on doing this until likely, as I said before, until next Tuesday. So I think I should probably end things off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Yoshi's Crafted World. Is the fact that we might able to wrap things up with Cheery Belly while going for the souvenir huntings, as well as finding those Poochie Pups at the same time as well. So hopefully we're able to come across to that. So I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Later, fellas.